Joseph "Yellow Kid" Weil, Chicago's greatest con artist. Chicago City Hall for more than a century is where the Windy City's laws have been made, and yet right across the street in 1934 the con men of Chicago held their own convention here. This is the Thompson Center today, but back then it was the Sherman House Hotel and had hosted a trade show for the city's best swindlers, and Chicago's had some great ones, stock swindlers like Leo Koritz, Mr. Bluebeard Sigmund. But the keynote speaker in King Con was Chicago's Joseph "Yellow Kid." While in the course of his career he swindled fortunes from some of the wealthiest folks in the country, anywhere else that would have made him a villain. But here in Chicago they made him a legend. The city's most legendary con man Joseph "Yellow Kid, while over his long con career he scammed reported about $114 million by today's standards. In 1924 he conned a fortune out of 20 different suckers using the same horse racing scam. Joseph Weil, satisfactorily recognized with the aid of his alias, Yellow Kid, was perhaps the arena's greatest con artist. Weil's knack for duping wealthy businessmen earned him a recognition that many have longed to live up to. His scams were often emulated, or even today, new spins are being taken on schemes he created over a century ago. Weil got his start working for a collections enterprise. In those days money would pass through numerous fingers earlier than making it to the man in price. This left masses of opportunity for lower-level employees to skim a touch off the top for themselves. Rather than ratting out those he suspected of taking cash, he demanded a small rate to be able to keep his mouth shut. This persevered till he met the acquaintance of a man going by using the call of Doc Merriweather. Merriweather became what is known as a snake oil salesman. He traveled from town to city, capitalizing at the tapeworm fad of the time via selling a magic serum he claimed would rid humans of the tapeworms that have been accountable for myriad clinical issues. In truth, the serum became not anything extra than a concoction of rainwater and alcohol mixed up via Merriweather's spouse. Weil's role within the scheme might be to both attract a crowd in an effort to sell Doc Merriweather's miracle elixir, or to act as a plant within the crowd, claiming that the system cured him of diverse underlying scientific situations. It changed into although this vocation that he commenced perfecting his craft. He and his companion would knock on doorways at some point of the Midwest and convince farmers to purchase magazine subscriptions. Then before they closed the door he would present a cheap, but steeply priced looking object, consisting of a couple of glasses or a pocket watch. He'd declare that he had discovered the item and puzzled if the purchaser knew who the item belonged to, emphasizing how luxurious the item seemed and that definitely there might be a reward for his or her return. Oftentimes the patron, believing they had been getting something for cheap, would supply Weil's $5 or more for the object. The actual fee of the object in the metropolis changed into just a few pennies, so Weil changed into capable of make a giant income off of this scam, similarly to his income fee. It became throughout this time that Weil had a revelation. I have discovered that this is the manner it really works. The average character, in my estimation, is 99% animal and 1 in keeping with scent human. The 99 consistent with scent, this is animal, causes little or no trouble. But the 1 in step with scent, that is human, causes all our woes. When humans research, as I doubt they may, that they are able to get something for not anything, crime will diminish and we shall all stay in greater concord. As long as guys have been stimulated by means of greed in the limitless pursuit of something for nothing, guys like Weil could flourish. Weil could use strategies just like the magazine scam to con guys of super wealth and strength for decades. His technique generally concerned baiting human beings in with an apparently legitimate transaction, and then absolutely distracting them with an underhanded scheme they would be concerned in. This is exactly how Weil pulled off his horse racing scams for To See You Later. His targets had been guys that had an exquisite deal of wealth and little or no know-how of horse racing. Most of the time he could technique a victim under a few valid pretenses, which include trying to assist them set up a commercial enterprise idea or to invite of a small mortgage. Instead of the business deal or loan he had to begin with advised, he would distract them right into a deal in which he could promote them, hot suggestions, or declare that he had some sort of insider data on a hard and fast race which could get their money lower back and greater. Knowing that these men have been not unintelligent, he often needed to go to superb lengths with a purpose to make his phrase appear proper. Chicagoland's Hawthorne Racecourse, owned by the Carey family. Since 1903 they used to be right next door up. Sportsman's Park, a dog track owned by Al Capone. As one of the top racing destinations in the Midwest, everyone from Mickey Rooney to President Truman has lost some money here, but the Yellow Kid, he had a sure thing suckers. His famous scams. Using actors, renting pool halls, now and again using faux system. Like a wiretapping system he utilized in one con, Weil made sure that every one bases have been blanketed whilst it came to convincing his sufferers of his claims. Owning several race horses himself, Weil might now and again persuade traders to offer him cash to exercise his horse, assuring them that his horse could be a sure win. When the investor got here to acquire their mortgage again, he would display them the details at the contract they signed designating that they have been unable to accumulate till the pony received a race, which become next to not possible due to the fact that his horses have been old and out of form. Other times his schemes had been as simple as telling an unwitting victim that he had a warm tip and take their cash to area a bet, by no means to return. Though many had tried to take Weil to court over his shenanigans, the legal guidelines have been so cozy in the one's days that his cases had been regularly dismissed. Although it turned into feasible to alert the gaming fee approximately Weil's dealings on the racetracks, the music without a doubt allowed him to maintain operating. Weil's precise standing inside the Turf Association, in addition to the top of the gaming fee, also allowed him leniency when it got here to his questionable affairs. It wouldn't be until Weil crossed a outstanding Chicago madam that he could be banned from the premises. Forced to find a new racket, Weil is going into commercial enterprise with a person nicknamed the Colonel. With the Colonel's help, the two bought a huge quantity of submarginal swamp land in Michigan for kind of $1 consistent with acre. Rather than unloading the junk land on unsuspecting consumers, the pair gave away the land. The Colonel's cousin could then pay $30 to write up the summary, manner greater than the typical fee on the time. Weil and the Colonel might then split $15, whilst the other $15 went to the Colonel's cousin. Once the land deals were completed, Weil set up at Get Rich Brief Commercial Enterprise, taking a nationwide spin on his antique hot horse racing tip ripoff. Taking out an advert in several publications, Weil advised customers to ship $100, which might be used to guess on horses. Some bets have been truly located, while different instances he and his accomplice just sat on the coins. Weil could print up faux reports, sending the customers tests for $125 claiming that they'd received. However, alas, due to famous call for, the organization certainly couldn't deal with such small accounts. The client would then ship in extra money that allows you to comfortable their bills. Money from new money owed might be used to on vintage money owed and maintain the ripoff going. This equal method was mimicked years later and made famous with the aid of Charles Ponzi. Over the course of 1924, from 20 different marks, Yellow Kid pulled in $500,000, that's $7.2 million in today's money, all with the same scam. You could even say he tracked down a fortune. The nationwide horse guess scam was possibly one in all Weil's most profitable schemes, however it began to resolve whilst he discovered that his partner were taking all of the exams before Weil got here into the workplace, a good way to break his diverse mistresses. Weil deserted the enterprise and changed into once again pressured to find a new method. Weil shaped a new partnership, this time with an inventory dealer. Together they purchased a huge quantity of penny stocks. With the assist of the inventory broking, Weil would bloodless call diverse prominent humans together with doctors and other businessmen. Weil would get them inquisitive about placing their cash on blue-chip shares including trendy oil and different smart investments. Once the check became obtained, Weil could then inform them that the deal turned into terrible. However, there has been suitable phrase that their own junk stock had excellent potentialities and by investing in them the sufferer stood to make a huge sum of money. Weil also backed those claims with a mag he and his associate wrote. The pair would ship these magazines out to all of their clients. There they might pepper glowing reviews, approximately their personal junk shares amongst actual inventory and trading advice. Since there has been no legal guidelines on promoting stocks above market cost and different policies gift these days, the pair have been legally capable of rip-off uninformed traders out of hundreds of greenbacks. Discovering he became the low research for a boxing match rip-off he turned into involved with, Weil changed into pressured to conceal his appearance with the aid of growing out his beard and went into hiding in Paris. While in Paris he found out a super deal about letters of credit, which had been notarized letters from the financial institution permitting travelers to use the budget certain in the letter in lieu of coins. Once finding out the case against him become dropped, Weil returned to Chicago. Although his pending case had been disregarded, Weil changed into nonetheless being watched by way of vicinity regulation enforcement. His next try was to go directly turned into after he struck up a cope with the owner of an espresso plantation. He presented to method and package the coffee beans, then promote the product at a top-class price. The incentive for purchasing the espresso turned into that the customer should gather coupons and exchange them for a piano. Setting up a deal with a reasonably priced piano agency, over again his popularity stuck up with him. Weil became accosted by the espresso plantation proprietor and once more business changed into halted earlier than it even started. and companion of Weil approached him in a saloon and wanted to promote junk bonds via a bank they could purchase. Weil wanted no element in a junk bond scheme, but convinced his accomplice to allow him to enter enterprise with him due to the fact he knew how he should make him a whole lot of money without the danger of selling faux bonds. The financial institution operated below valid occasions, but Weil, the use of his understanding of letters of credit, wrote out 6 fraudulent letters for $100,000 each. With the assist of himself and 5 additional men along their woman partners, they departed for Europe and went on buying sprees. Hitting up posh boutiques, the men might spoil the women with furs and jewelry. The letters might be written out for extra than the cost of the objects. The trade could then be passed over in cash. Once the finances were exhausted over the route of numerous weeks, the merchandise become offered off and the money turned into split consequently. The letters could then be sent back to the financial institution, where Weil's partner and financial institution president could dispute the fees, claiming the clerk turned into accountable. The clerk that notarized the letters become dispatched to stay in Mexico even as Weil and his accomplice paid his dwelling costs. Weil later left together with his preliminary $37,000 funding after his accomplice insisted on pulling off his junk bond plan.